Am I the a-hole for refusing to talk to my dad and brothers after what they said to me? They must have said something pretty bad. This story came May 21st, 2025. The people involved are me, 16 female, my dad, 59 male, my 2 older brothers, 22 male, they are twins by the way, and my twin brother, 16 male. Wow, 2 sets of twins for the siblings? I guess that kind of makes sense, but wild. As you can imagine, dealing with 2 sets of twins can be, well, stressful, and I understand my father in that. My mother is away working. She usually comes once a year or month, but I haven't seen her much since I turned 14. Sometimes she sends stuff to me and my brothers. The relationship with my brothers is, well, complicated. I'm the only woman among all them, so it was really difficult to connect with them. Oh, because you're twin brother. Yeah, you're the only girl. I act surprised. That happens often. So it was already difficult to connect with them. I only connect a little with my brother Andrew, fake name, since we both like Greek mythology and stuff like that. But here is the problem. It's with my twin brother and my father. You see, these last few days where I live, the weather seems to have a life of its own. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold, etc. So today I woke up to unbearable heat. I plan to go to one of those markets that sell everything to look for some stuffed animals from a series that I like. I dressed in a shirt, some sneakers, and decided to wear a skirt to have my legs freer, and the skirt was short, almost 4 fingers above the knees, and that was the problem for my father. 4 fingers above the knees? Oh my God. Well, I have definitely worn my skirt shorter. I still do. He immediately told me that the skirt was not appropriate and that I should change immediately. I asked him what the problem was with this skirt, since it was literally a piece of clothing that my mother sent me from the country where she works. He didn't say anything to me, he just told me that either I'd change into pants or I wouldn't go out. I feel like this is pretty common. I remember, of course, being in high school, you're a teenager. We had school uniforms and we had kilts and we had to wear them, like they would come up and test you literally when I was in high school. And we had to have our arms down at our side and our skirt had to reach our fingertips. And if it didn't, you were sent to the office because we would always roll our kilts shorter, obviously. And this one thing, to this day, I still remember my best friend, one of them to this day, her brothers, like when we were in high school and we wear like little jean skirts from Hollister or whatever, they would always, like if we were dressed to go out, they'd always be like, wear your pants with that belt. Because they said our jean skirts looked like belts. I feel like this is a very common thing with especially teenagers, girls. We want to wear short skirts most of the time. Maybe not all of us, just me. I couldn't even speak when my twin brother joined the conversation. My father told him everything, I guess looking for support, and my brother, like the idiot he is, looked me up and down and said, "You look like a sloot in that skirt." Can't say the word, it'll probably get flagged. I got angry about that, and out of rage, I took off his shoe and I hit him with it. But it got worse because my dad agreed with him. Yes, he literally said, "If your brother thinks like that, what do you think the others will think?" To top it all off, he called my 2 older brothers and they also supported him. I ended up locking myself in my room. I looked at the skirt and I didn't see anything wrong with it. I looked at it for hours until I simply gave up on my plans to go out. That was practically 2 weeks ago. Since that day, I don't speak to them unless it's important. My mom texted me today asking why I'm giving my dad and my brothers the silent treatment, and that my dad feels bad about it. I didn't send a response, so I would appreciate if you could give me some advice so I can answer my mom and explain all of this to her. I consulted with some friends. While some friends, both men and women, told me that my dad went too far by not defending me from my brother's comment, 2 friends told me that I was exaggerating because of my brother's comment and that instead of complaining, I should just take it as advice. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? I would love to hear from parents, especially because I feel like, especially at that age, 16, if, you're a young gal is wearing a short skirt, like, I understand the protectiveness. Even when my parents or my friends' older brothers would make those comments, like, I understood. It's like they're being protective about you're wearing a short skirt. and you're a young girl. But how would you handle the situation? Obviously, I don't think it's appropriate to call someone a sleut and then it feels like your father's agreeing with that comment. Like, I'm curious to know how to handle this situation and how you would. And then we have an update from the same day. I'll summarize the call and everything that happened. My mother was furious. It turns out my father only told her the part where I questioned him about it and why I should have had to change my clothes. I sent her the picture of the skirt and I even put the outfit back on and I sent her a picture of myself in it. It was there that my dad burst in. They had arrived earlier than I had calculated. He started yelling at me. I didn't understand almost anything. Everything happened so fast that I barely realized when my dad started tearing my clothes up. All my clothes. Not only the winter ones, but the ones that he saw as inappropriate, like strapless shirts, pajamas, skirts, shorts, and a few dresses. I cried to him to stop, but he didn't. I don't remember how much I cried, but the noise was enough for my brothers to come up and they just watched. They did nothing to stop my dad. I kept crying, begging him to stop, begging my brothers to do something. It was then that I heard my mom scream. She was still on the call. I saw how all of my dad's anger turned into shock and fear, almost the same time with my brothers. They probably didn't even know that she was on the call. My mom told me to call a friend to stay with her because tomorrow she would take the first flight home. So here I am now on my best friend's couch wearing one of his t-shirts and his pants since I don't have pajamas anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. I can barely process what's happening and how it happened so fast. My dad hasn't stopped calling me, nor have my brothers. I'm going to turn off my phone soon so I can sleep in peace. My best friend's mom already knows about the situation and told me that I can stay as long as I need and that if I have any questions, I can tell her. Oh man, the stress of being a teenager, man. Let me tell you. You think of it now though, as an adult, and you look back and you're like, remember when we were so stressed as teenagers? And as an adult, you're like, oh, simpler times.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Being an adult is fun, isn't it? All right, so we have the next update and it was the next day. So coming to present time, my mom called my friend's mom, asking her to take me to see my dad at a cafe for breakfast. I'll be honest, it scared me. After remembering what happened the night before and my father's previous behavior, I felt like I didn't recognize him. Something I forgot to mention is that he rarely acts like this. I've seen him angry with other people, but never with my brothers or me. We went to a little cafe where my mother used to frequent before leaving, and there I found my father. It seemed like he had cried for hours as if he hadn't slept. We talked for a while and he apologized, not only for the sleut thing, but also for not stopping my brothers and also for ripping up my clothes. I asked him for an explanation since he hadn't even given me one about the skirt. He looked down and said he thought that if his words and those of my brothers affected him, he was going to change my clothes. WTF. Yes, that was my reaction. Not in words, but in feelings. I told him that it did affect me, but not just the clothes, but the fact that he allowed my brothers to call me a sleut and for them to make fun of it behind my back. He started to cry. I'll be honest, I didn't understand why. I read a lot here about crocodile tears and emotional manipulation. He said that he was sorry, that he never wanted it to get to this point, that he didn't know how to handle the fact that I was growing up, and that he did not want to lose me. The conversation led to nothing, and I'm still at my friend's house. In the case of my brothers, none of them have spoken to me. My mom left me a message before she left for work, telling me that she'd already spoken to my brothers and my dad. Messy, messy, messy. Next update came 4 days later. Answering some frequently asked questions. No, living with my mom isn't possible for 2 reasons. First, my mom is away too much. She doesn't have a home office. That wouldn't be a problem for me since I know how to cook, do my own laundry, and clean up after myself. The other thing is that my mom lives with 2 other women where she's staying this time. One is an older woman and the other is divorced. Both rented the room with a no children rule. So no, it is not possible. Next, no, I never saw my dad act this way in front of me. He has never behaved this way with me. He is usually very affectionate and very understanding. I don't know what the reason for that outburst of anger was. My neighbors. I have new neighbors, by the way. We have not met. They probably think I'm the weirdo that just talks to myself all day. Next up, no, my parents are not divorced. The reason my mom is always away is because of work. She got pregnant with my older brothers, Andrew and Elijah, when they were 21. My dad stayed behind to take care of both of them until my mom got a good job. Then they had my twin and me. She is still far away, and the money she sends is usually enough and even left over for everyday things like school, extracurricular activities, etc. Now on to the update. 2 days ago, my brother Andy, the 22 male, wrote me a message asking if we could talk. The truth is, I got a little nervous. I asked him if we could talk on the phone, and he said yes. As a comment recommended, I recorded the conversation with my brother in case something happened, in addition to having my best friend's sister as moral support. The conversation was trivial at first. Andy asked me if I ate well, slept well, the usual stuff, until we got to the topic at hand. He apologized, saying he was an idiot and should have measured what he said. I asked him why he did that, why he used those words. At first, he gave me the same explanation as my dad. That is, it was to try and persuade me to change my clothes. I told him to tell me the truth. I needed a rational and sincere explanation. I heard him sigh and say, "You wouldn't understand." I asked him what exactly I didn't understand, but he was stubborn in not telling me. I asked him if mom told him anything. He said that mom scolded him and my brothers for treating me like that, and that we would talk more about it when she got back. He also asked me when I would be coming home. I told him I would be staying at my friend's house until mom came, and that is where we started to argue. He told me that it was stupid to hide at my friend's house, that it was cowardly and childish to run away just because of a comment. I replied that after dad tore up my clothes, no matter how much I cried, he no longer made me feel safe. Less because neither he nor our two other brothers defended me or comforted me. They just watched and turned a blind eye until mom had to intervene over the phone. Upon mentioning mom, he started telling me that I shouldn't have brought mom up, since she was already stressed enough with her job to listen to my tantrums, and that we could have worked it out by ourselves at home. I told him this wasn't a tantrum. They literally ganged up with each other, calling me a sleut and making other derogatory comments about my outfit, then let dad rip up my clothes. I asked him if he even ever bothered to think about if this would affect me, and he stayed silent. Then he ended the call, telling me to not do stupid things at my friend's house, and he hung up the phone. Then, before dinner, Elijah, 22 male, the other twin, called me. I thought about not answering, considering my argument with Andrew, but I decided to. He told me straight up that I got him and my two older brothers and dad in huge trouble by going to cry to mom and then running away into my best friend's lap. I told him, what did he expect? I didn't get any answers from them about what happened. None of them helped me when dad was ripping up my clothes, and I was begging him to stop. I told him I didn't run away into anyone's lap and that I didn't cry to mom. I just told mom what happened, and that I am now staying somewhere safe. I just heard him groan, and then he told me not to do anything stupid. Before I could ask him what he meant, he hung up. I suspected that my twin brother, Toby, the 16 male, would also call me later, but he just texted me saying, "I hope you're happy now." I was confused most of the night. Let's move on to the incident on Saturday. When my brother spoke to me, it was on Friday. I went out with my best friend for a walk. We were planning to go to McDonald's with his sister and his cousin. We sat at a table and I was the one assigned to order the food. Everything was normal until I saw my two other brothers enter the restaurant. My heart froze. I looked back at the counter, praying that the line would get longer so they wouldn't see me. To my misfortune, they did. Almost immediately, the first thing they asked me is, what the hell was I doing here alone? I told them I wasn't alone and that my friend's family was here. I wanted to pretend I didn't know them, to ignore them, but that wasn't possible. Andrew asked me whose shirt it was, and I told him it was my friend's. I don't know why, but that made them very mad. Elijah told me that they warned me not to do anything stupid and told me that they would take me home. I stepped aside when he tried to grab me, and I told him what stupid thing was he talking about. He told me that wearing my friend's shirt was a sign that I slept with him. Yes, those were my brother's words. I asked him why the hell he thought that, and he said when a girl wears a boy's shirt, it is because he has marked his territory. That is when I really lost it. I told my brother he was a creep for even suggesting that my friend let me borrow the shirt because I ran out of the few shirts I had managed to save and they were now in the wash, and that both my friend and I were still teenagers, and the fact that they made that assumption was just disgusting. Apparently, that only made them believe their suspicions more, and they yelled back at me. Andy said not to lie, to tell the truth, and that if I did, they wouldn't tell Dad. I yelled back, telling him that it was disgusting, that I wouldn't confess to something I didn't do, and to leave me alone. Elijah then told me to stop being so stubborn and spoiled. Then he added something that hurt me. He said he didn't understand why I was so offended by the whole sloot thing if I was behaving like one. That's where the comment he made that I ran into someone else's lap makes sense. I felt nauseous, disgusted, and in pain. It made me think that if that was how my older brother saw me, that was hurtful. I was about to answer, and then a scream fell on both of us. It was my friend's little cousin. She started screaming, "These two bad men were yelling bad things at me." That caught the attention of two mothers who appeared, as well as my best friend and a sister. The rest was a blur to me. From what I know, my brothers were told to leave the place. They tried to make me leave with them, but my friend and his sister did not let them. We ended up buying takeout, and my friend called his mom to pick us up. After dinner, I spoke to my mom. I wrote to her and I told her everything. I sent her a voice message saying I needed her now, not in a few days when she'd be home, and that I didn't understand what the hell was going on. I ended the voice message by telling her I wanted to stay at my friend's house even when she came home. I know my mom is working her off every day to provide for us with a good lifestyle and not make us go without, and I exploded at her for not being there for me right now when I needed it. Oh boy, it's just getting worse and worse. You know, I remember being a teenager, and anytime someone would call you that, that was a big thing in high school. It was that, it was hooer, like, oh, you're such a sloot. You could say anything. You could just be walking by and like people, that was the insult. I remember, that was extra triggering, especially for someone like me. I didn't even have my first kiss until in high school, which for some schools, that was behind in life. A lot of people were already making out with people by the time grade 9 came out. I had my first kiss on the lips, and I'm not even a make out. I'm talking my first like in grade 9 of high school. And I remember those comments feeling like so painful because I was like, I've kissed a boy. Like, why are you calling me that? I don't know why. Those were like extra like painful as a female. We have more updates though, so the drama continues, I guess. Well, let's hop on hydration station. Cheers. Drink your water, you need it. We reached 10K on the second channel. I remember in a Joss cam last week, I was like, we're getting close to 10K. Maybe we'll hit it. We did. We did. Thank you so much to everyone who came from over here. There's also some new followers that are just happening to find some of like the short reels over there. But if anyone from over here is over there, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's at Life with Joss. I'm gonna be posting every week. I'm gonna aim to do more than one video a week, like long form. I'm posting short form every day. But I'm gonna just show more of my life, essentially. Oh my gosh, the sign's been cut off this whole time. Like a dingleberry. All right, so we have another update, which came 4 days later. So mom should be home by now, according to the timeline. First of all, my mother didn't come back. We both talked, and I ended up discovering things that, although they felt heavy, explained the situation to me better. The first thing is that the reason my mom was gone so much was because she needed her space. I asked her what she meant by that, and she told me that they were only expecting one baby at the time, my twin. When they did the first ultrasound to see him, I wasn't that visible, my mom's words. It wasn't until the second ultrasound that they finally noticed me. So, for those who theorize that I was the daughter of a lover, I am an unexpected surprise. My mom said that neither she nor my dad were ready for a girl. When my twin and I were born, mom was anxious since having a girl, she would now have to stay at home more to guide me. My dad assured her that he would understand me and that my mom would not worry. I think she took that literally. I asked her why she's only telling me this now, and it turns out that the divorced woman that my mother currently lives with listened to my audio when my mother played it. She sat my mother down and told her that I needed her, that if she didn't do something now, she would lose me like she, the divorced woman, lost her children. She apologized for prioritizing herself as a woman more than me. She said she thought I was safe and calm at home, but after this, she now understands that she was wrong to be out of my life and that of my brothers. We talked a little more, mostly about what I wanted and if I was sure that I wanted to stay at my friend's house. I said yes, and then she talked to my friend's mom, so they agreed that I would stay with my friend's mom. The talk with my dad and brothers. Well, it was by video call with my mom too. My dad tried to object, but my mom silenced him. So now I officially live with my friend, her sister, and her mom. The rules in the house are manageable and I feel comfortable here. As for clothes, my mom sends money. I'll go shopping with my friend's sister next week. I had one last talk with my dad on my friend's porch with his mom watching. He apologized for disappointing me, for not protecting me, and he cried again. Many will probably judge me here, but I accepted his goodbye hug. It hurts that things ended like this. He said he would find a way to earn my trust back and that he didn't want to lose me. As for my brothers, I only received an apology from Andrew, while my twin sent me a photo of my room still intact with the phrase, "It will be the same when you return." So here I am now at my friend's house in my new room. For my expenses, my friend's mother will be the one who receives a sum of money for anything like food, hygiene products, medicines, etc. Wow. But it doesn't end there. We actually have a final update 3 months later. I do hope they could all resolve everything. It's essentially you don't have both of your parents around and none of your siblings. That's tough. Oh, this is not fun. All right, so the update is 3 months later, August 2025. My mom came. She arrived at my friend's house. She asked me if I already went to buy the clothes with the money she sent. I answered only some of the money, and she offered to go with me for the rest of it. It was in the shoe section that we both talked. She apologized to me again about everything. Now, on to my dad. My dad is hospitalized. Apparently, he and Elijah had a fight. The fights between my dad and Elijah have gotten worse. Elijah went out with his friends and came back late, smelling of alcohol and cigarettes. Apparently, in the fight, he said a bunch of hurtful things to my dad and then left in a huff. Apparently, this affected him more, and Andrew found him unconscious. Andrew was the one who took him to the hospital, and he hasn't moved from there since. According to Andrew, Dad has something related to stress. I went to see him twice. I kept the conversation calm since I didn't want to make his condition worse. I said goodbye with a hug, which he hugged me back. The second and last time I visited him was 2 days ago. He told me that he planned to seek help. He told me that he and Mom would go to couples therapy first and then individual therapy to handle some problems. It seems like there's a lot of issues here. Maybe in the parents' marriage, but obviously the kids are being affected by all of this. They all have their own issues and they're all young, growing, and parents out there, I feel like you're gonna relate to this more than ever when you have like 4 children and they're all, you got some in your early young, you got some in like 2 that are 16, the other 2 are early 20s. Those phases of life are all, you know, a lot of times a little maybe stressful. I can only imagine that parents worry a lot during those years of their child's life. As an adult, I'm now like realizing about adulting and parenting, and I'm like, my parents, of course, they still worry. I think you always worry about your child, no matter how old they are, but they probably have a lot more peace when all their kids are grown or married and have, you know, their lives together a little more. There's got to be some kind of peace with that, rather than like the younger stages. You have no idea what they're getting up to, if they're safe, the crowd they're around, their partners. Yeah, wild. I am learning. Well, let me know your thoughts and feelings. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.